In the year 2039, Earth's oxygen levels are dangerously low, making it impossible for people to live without special equipment. There are no plants left, cities are deserted, and only a handful of survivors remain, relying on masks and oxygen tanks to stay alive. In Brooklyn, a man named Darius ventures out from his family's underground shelter to clean the solar panels. Meanwhile, his father heads to a nearby bookstore to find new books for his granddaughter. As he exits the bookstore, tragedy strikes when he steps on weakened floorboards, causing him to crash through the floor and dangle from the ceiling. His oxygen tank is damaged in the fall, leaving him struggling to breathe. Darius hears his father's distress call over the communication device and rushes to the bookstore. Despite his efforts to free his father from the hole, it's too late. He then tries another approach, climbing upstairs to grab his father's feet and pull him out. Sadly, his father has already passed away. Heartbroken, Darius returns to the bunker and shares the sad news with his wife Maya and their daughter Zora. Thankfully, with Darius's engineering skills and Maya's farming expertise, they've managed to create a comfortable life in the bunker with enough oxygen and plants. Darius expresses his wish to bury his father beside his mother, who rests in a cemetery over 5 miles away. Zora voices her concerns about the potential danger of Darius's journey, but he reassures her, pointing out that they haven't encountered anyone for 3 years, so he should be safe. Later that evening, after everyone has gone to sleep, Darius conducts maintenance on the bunker's vital systems. To his shock, he discovers that the oxygen reserve will only last for 2 months. The computer indicates that the system has been compromised, presenting Darius with a difficult decision. The following morning, Darius bids farewell to Zora and gives her the book her grandfather had chosen for her. As he leaves with his father's body, Zora watches him on the security camera. Not wanting to lose contact with him, Zora uses the radio to try to reach Darius. She shares random stories, like how he had predicted the oxygen shortage, but nobody believed him, yet he still managed to build the bunker in time. Sadly, Darius never responds, and 5 long months pass without any word from him. Maya and Zora do their best to survive on their own. They take on the responsibility of maintaining the bunker and ensuring its upkeep. Whenever they venture outside, they always bring a gun for protection. However, Maya gets frustrated whenever Zora wanders off alone, even if it's just to search for clothes. Thankfully, the bunker is equipped with a thick steel door and a password lock, providing them with some security for the time being. They try to keep each other company, but in the quiet moments, they keenly feel Darius's absence. Despite the heartache, Zora persists, sending messages through the radio recounting family memories from before the world changed. Maya also refuses to give up hope. She ventures outside to plant seeds, clinging to the belief that one day they'll sprout. Maya takes the opportunity to teach Zora how to troubleshoot by simulating computer errors. However, when Zora suggests going out to search for her father, Maya firmly reminds her of the failed attempts and forbids her from leaving. This often leads to heated arguments between them. One afternoon, Maya and Zora are outside, having just finished their maintenance tasks, when they spot 2 strangers approaching with a shopping cart. They quickly hide behind an old car and observe as the strangers attempt to enter the bunker. Despite their efforts, the strangers fail to gain access. What's odd is that they seem to know exactly which door to target. Suddenly, the bunker's system alerts Maya and Zora about their oxygen levels. One of the strangers, Tess, hears the noise and begins to search for them with her weapon drawn, while her partner Lucas climbs onto the roof to scout for other entrances. Tess cautiously approaches the car but doesn't find the women. At that moment, Tess hears Lucas trying to warn her of something over the radio, but it's too late. Maya and Zora swiftly tackle her to the ground, then dash to the bunker to secure themselves inside and seal the door shut before the strangers can pursue them. With tension thick in the air, Maya takes to the communication system and demands an explanation from Tess. Tess insists that they mean no harm and explains that she and Lucas, along with 25 others, reside in a bomb shelter outside Philadelphia. Their air filtration system recently began failing, prompting their 3-day journey in search of Darius. Tess reveals she's a physicist who once collaborated with Darius at the university and merely wants to examine the system he devised in order to replicate it. She even knows Maya's and Zora's names. Despite Tess's claims, Maya remains wary, as Darius never mentioned her. Suddenly, Zora mutes the mic and engages in a heated argument with Maya over how to proceed. Zora's priority is to prevent harm to the people at the shelter, but Maya doubts the existence of the shelter altogether. Despite the disagreement, Zora eventually convinces her mother to assist, reasoning that if Tess can truly replicate Darius's technology, it could bring significant changes to the world. Reluctantly, Maya instructs Tess and Lucas to leave their weapons by the door and kneel down. With her gun drawn, Maya directs Tess to tie up Lucas's hands, then she secures Tess's hands as well. After ensuring they aren't concealing any other weapons, Maya leads Tess towards the shelter, maintaining caution every step of the way. As they're on the brink of entering, Micah suddenly emerges from hiding and orders them to halt. Maya instinctively opens fire at the same moment Zora rushes out and shoots as well. Micah is wounded, but he still manages to tackle Zora into the bunker. Maya swiftly follows suit and shuts the door, leaving Tess and Lucas outside. Inside, Maya and Zora quickly restrain Micah. With their weapons trained on him, they cautiously proceed into the main room. Maya then uses the communication system to speak with Tess, who explains that it's all a misunderstanding. Micah serves as her lookout, and upon witnessing Tess being tied up and taken away, he mistakenly believed she was in danger. Maya remains skeptical of Tess's claims and insists that she leave. Undeterred, Tess declares her determination to obtain Darius's machine by any means necessary. With a knife, Tess frees herself and Lucas from their restraints, then announces their intent to use the drill. Meanwhile, inside the bunker, Maya and Zora tend to Micah's wound while continuing their debate over the authenticity of his story. Suddenly, the alarm blares, and the computer warns of a compromised system. Zora and Micah rush to check the security camera, only to find it covered with tape by Tess. As Tess retrieves the weapon dropped by Micah, Lucas employs a drill in an attempt to breach the bunker door. Fortunately, Zora has a moment of inspiration. She gathers some mechanical pieces and quickly assembles a makeshift device, which she places against the bunker door. Activating it, she sends out an electromagnetic pulse that disables the drill, thwarting Tess's attempt to breach the door. Refusing to be deterred, Tess climbs onto the roof and introduces carbon dioxide into the bunker, causing the oxygen levels to plummet. As the alarm blares, Zora and Maya hurriedly don their masks. Maya heads out to address the issue while Zora remains behind, keeping Micah at gunpoint. Despite her unease, Zora listens as Micah opens up about his young daughter. After much deliberation, Zora decides to share her mask with him, on the condition that he answers her questions truthfully. Micah says he didn't hurt Darius. He thinks Tess knew Darius from before everything went bad. Outside, Lucas is supposed to wait by the door to launch an attack, but he becomes distracted by something in the garage. He pulls Tess towards it. Just then, Maya appears on the roof and opens fire, forcing Tess and Lucas to seek cover. In a matter of seconds, Tess and Lucas devise a plan. Tess begins returning fire at Maya while Lucas makes a dash towards the bunker. Inside, as the air clears and they can remove their masks, Micah seizes the opportunity to struggle against the ropes restraining him. Tess suddenly comes out of hiding, pretending to give up. This distracts Maya while Lucas sneaks up from behind and they start fighting. Maya hits Lucas with a mop, hurting his ear. But then, Tess surprises Maya from behind and knocks her out. At the same time, Micah gets free and attacks Zora. Zora pushes on Micah's wound to get him off, but Micah finds Zora's weapon and aims it at her. Soon after, Lucas and Tess, now with Maya as their hostage, find the security camera, making their control even stronger. Micah manages to tie up Zora but struggles to open the door without the access code. Suddenly, he begins to feel lightheaded due to the blood loss and collapses, succumbing to his injuries. Outside, Lucas threatens to harm Maya if Zora doesn't cooperate and open the door. However, the microphone remains muted, preventing Zora from explaining her predicament. Luckily, Micah's radio is nearby, so Zora uses her feet to bring it closer. She tells the group what's happening and that Micah has died. Tess demands that Maya open the door from the inside, but Maya reveals that a special badge is required along with the access code. She explains that the badge is inside the bunker, as a security measure to prevent unauthorized entry. Desperate to aid her daughter, Maya eventually reveals that there's another badge, but it's located far away. Maya suggests to Tess that they use a working car to go get it. Tess reluctantly agrees, while Lucas remains behind to stand guard. During the car ride, Maya confides in Tess, explaining that they're going to find Darius. She reveals that after Darius left to bury his father, Maya discovered a note in which he admitted that the machine couldn't sustain clean air for 3 people any longer. However, with only 2 individuals, there would be more time for Zora and Maya to work on cultivating the seeds. This revelation confirms to Maya that Darius is indeed passed away, and his absence was not intentional. Meanwhile, back in the bunker, Zora instructs the computer to play some music, a gesture appreciated by Lucas in the midst of the tense situation. A few hours later, Maya finds Darius's body and takes a moment to grieve before finding the badge. The duo is ready to go, but at that moment the car runs out of power. Tess asks for the badge as she points out Maya can barely move with her broken leg, so there's no way she'll survive a trip back on foot. She confesses she also used to have a daughter and promises to take good care of Zora, so Maya agrees to give her the badge and the code. Before leaving, Tess promises to come back for Maya when she has more oxygen in her tank. Then Tess starts running back and eventually finds a bicycle in the middle of the city, so she uses it to reach the bunker safely. With the code and the badge, Tess and Lucas manage to gain entry into the bunker just before their oxygen runs out. Zora demands to know Maya's whereabouts, prompting Tess to disclose the full truth, including Darius's sacrifice. Tess expresses her intention to return with a new mask to rescue Maya, but Lucas intervenes, threatening to kill Tess unless she focuses on repairing the machine. Using a drill, Tess opens a panel in Darius's invention and discovers a highly advanced system. She reluctantly admits that she lacks the expertise to recreate it. As Lucas gets more and more upset, Tess reaches her breaking point and confesses the truth. She never met Darius before. Instead, she learned about him and his family solely through intercepted radio messages from Zora. With her limited understanding of technology, Tess attempts to assist with the machine back at the shelter, but she didn't realize how hard it would be to understand Darius's invention. Lucas gets really angry and shoots Tess right away. Witnessing the horrific scene, Zora experiences a breakdown as Lucas coldly sits beside her, demanding that she teach him how to operate the machine, yet refusing to release her from her restraints. Meanwhile, Maya sits alone in the car, reflecting on her family. With only 21% of oxygen remaining, she resigns herself to the fact that no one will come to her rescue before it's too late. But her sadness turns to hope when she sees something on the ground, a tiny plant starting to grow. She takes off her mask for a moment and breathes in, noticing the air is getting cleaner. This gives her hope for the future. Feeling determined, Maya sets out to recharge the car's solar battery. Meanwhile, at the bunker, Lucas disposes of Tess's and Micah's bodies to eliminate the odor. He then finds a can of food, but Zora refuses to disclose the location of the can opener. Frustrated, he decides to open the can by smashing it. Zora confronts Lucas for his selfishness in choosing to remain at the bunker instead of returning to help his shelter, but he remains indifferent to her criticism. Suddenly, the alarm blares, indicating a problem with the cables. Reluctantly, Lucas agrees to untie Zora so she can fix the problem with the cables, but he only gives her a limited amount of oxygen to ensure she doesn't attempt to escape. Zora hurries to the roof and manages to reattach the cables, only to discover that Maya was the one who tampered with them. After a heartfelt reunion with Maya, Zora tries to re-enter the bunker, but Lucas refuses to open the door, relishing in her discomfort. Determined to escape, the two devise a plan. However, moments later, the alarm sounds once more. Lucas emerges from the bunker and finds Zora lying unconscious on the ground. In a cruel act, he throws dirt at her and begins to pray, only to be suddenly shot by Maya, damaging his oxygen tanks in the process. As Lucas attempts to move, Zora reveals that she's awake and causes him to trip. Seizing the opportunity, Maya and Zora race back into the bunker, but Lucas manages to stand up and pursue them. He forcefully pushes through the first door and tackles them. Then he does the same to get through the second door, letting the contaminated air into the shelter. With the alarm blaring, Lucas demands oxygen, waving his weapon and threatening the women. However, Zora points out the danger of firing his weapon, as it could trigger an explosion. Reluctantly, Lucas allows them to move and fix the problem. Instead, Maya and Zora defy his expectations and exit the bunker, swiftly closing the doors behind them, leaving Lucas alone in the compromised room. Deciding not to endure a slow death, Lucas shoots his weapon, causing an explosion that ends his life. Maya and Zora survive the blast because of their masks, but their oxygen is running out. Remembering Micah's story, Zora drives through the city looking for the shelter. When they reach the shelter, they find the doors shut and collapse on the stairs, feeling exhausted. Shortly after, Maya wakes up feeling refreshed and clean. The people in the shelter heard them and saved them. Now, Zora teaches the survivors how to use Darius's machine, and they all work together to plant the new seeds and bring back plants to the world. Maya and Zora join forces with the survivors, facing the future with hope for a better world.